Good morning, everyone, and welcome to WeTest.Athens 2026. My name is Katerina Magiroglu, and I am a proud member of the Thessaloniki Software Testing and QA Meetup. I'm truly excited to kick off a day full of learning, sharing, and connecting. We're proud to be hosting this year's event here at the Athens Concert Hall with over 900 attendees, joining us from across Greece and beyond. Whether you are in QA, UX, development, or just curious about the space, today is all about sharing knowledge and growing together. Okay, before presenting you our first speaker, I would like to break the ice a little. We are a community, and part of the reason we attend conferences is to get to know each other. So, please turn to your left or right and introduce yourself to somebody you don't already know. Perfect. Congrats. You all just met a cool person. So, let's get started with our first session. Everything you always wanted to know about the ISTQB, but never dared to ask. Presented by Olivier Denoo, the Vice President of ISTQB and President of the CFTL. Please join me in welcoming our first speaker on stage.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. This is a mixed audience in this absolutely wonderful conference and gorgeous place. Who among you are software testers, QAers? Okay, loads of people. Perfect. Who among you have heard about the ISTQB? Well, then I don't need to make the talk. Everyone knows. Who got certified already? Okay, perfect. So I'm with a serious audience today. Okay, so the name of this talk is definitely everything you wanted to know, always wanted to know about the ISTQB and never dared to ask. I was asked by the organizers to speak about this absolutely wonderful organization. And most of the people heard about the ISTQB, but very rarely people know how the ISTQB really works, and it's kind of a mystery, sort of black box, if I'm speaking our language. So the name of the game here is to unveil a little bit what is behind the stage, behind the scene, and so that you understand how the ISTQB is really working, what's in it for you, and how we proceed with these wonderful certification schemes. So let's start the show. What is ISTQB in a nutshell? Well, actually, as you probably already know, this is a worldwide recognized independent certification scheme in software testing. There will be a lot of contents on the slides because this is an information session, sorry about it. So we exist since 2002. Okay? If you go to the website, you would eventually find reference back to 1998. There was some couple of good ideas there, people willing to gather and make something together. But the real incorporation or the real start of the association on a legal basis is 2002. And actually speaking, we are covering 130 countries, well, worldwide basically. Every spot on the world can be having a certification organized one way or the other. Okay? And we do that in many supported languages. So the basic language to develop the ISTQB content is English, American English. This is some kind of language that you can share all over the world. But basically you have local member board, like the Greek testing board, GRTB. Ever heard of GRTB? People connected to GRTB? So They might be translating some syllabi or some contents in Greek, but we have that in Spanish, we have that in German, we have that in French. I'm the president of the French board, as you've been told, so we translate nearly everything in French as well. So we have many languages, and the name of the game, and we will come to that a bit later with the questions and so on and so forth. The name of the game is to keep some sort of exam consistency all over the place. So the real strength of the ISTQB is that if you're certified, wherever you are in the world, this certification is valid everywhere. And this is the same sort of difficulty, the same sort of content, the same sort of, well, we'll come to that later, but everything is really, made in this direction. The original idea was to have a couple of people, back to 2002, a couple of people who decided to build something together. They were, giving software courses, they were having software service companies and so on and so forth. They were known all over the place. They were speaking at conferences already at this time. And they said, okay, why not building something that is a little bit bigger, something that is international? And here came the idea. So they discussed and they created this association step by step. It was not a walk in the park, but they managed it. And basically speaking, at a certain moment in time, they decided to adopt some already existing content, not to reinvent the wheel. So they went to the BCS and some ISEP contents. Maybe you heard about ISEP. This is a long-gone scheme that was just before the ISTQB. They took over this content, upgraded it, updated it some sort of way, and then they start their journey in the software testing. So that is what it's all about. Of course, we have a mission and vision like each and every company. I will be speaking about a company, but actually, I tell you already, we are not a for-profit organization. So this is not the ISTQB.com, this is the ISTQB.org. Sadly enough, there is an ISTQB.com, and we're trying to fight them for years, but this is located in a place of the world where it's very hard to sue people and to get them shut down. And as soon as we find somebody, there's another one that is picking up and in a different place and so on and so forth. So to be honest with them and to be fair, ISTQB.com is just relaying our content. So they are just pretending they are us, but they are not us. And they're not very harmful per se because they're just relaying our content. Then I suppose that they try to sell something behind, but, well, basically speaking, well, now you've been warned. Okay, so our mission and vision, that's to continually improve and advance the software testing profession. So basically speaking, what we do is testing. We are doing testing and enlarging a little bit to quality here and there. And the name of the game is to share with the community and build some contents that the community could recognize into. Yeah, we are, as I said, a not-for-profit association run by volunteers. So if you want to work with the ISTQB or if you get some content from the ISTQB, well, you need to know that we don't get paid for that. So everyone working with the ISTQB is a volunteer. We have no employee. We have absolutely nobody that is on the payroll of the ISTQB because there's not even a payroll of the ISTQB. And all the money that we get, and I will tell you because I know that this is a nasty question that comes, so I already prepared that one basically. All the money we get is reinvested one way or the other in developing the syllabi or meeting or building the content. So run by volunteers, so I'm here as a volunteer, that's fine. And yes, we have some code of ethics and we have values. If you want to hear about that, just go to our website. That's a teaser to attract you to the website. You know, that's the marketing trick. But basically speaking, there's nothing special in there. Of course, we respect diversity. We have this kind of fairness things and so on and so forth. Nothing really special. Nothing really exciting about it. Okay. The ISTQB is not reinventing the wheel. That's not our goal. That's not what we do. We are just building on top of existing standards, existing stuff that is already defined. And of course, we improve when it needs to be improved. We redefine when we think that we should be redefining. And we refer a lot to these standards. So you see a lot passing by. The first one was the British Standard 7925. That's the funding one, really. That's the one that started all in the ISTQB. Of course, the standard is long gone as well. And now we are going to the ISO 29119, 25,000, and so on and so forth as reference, but many, many more than this. Okay? So the name of the game there in our syllabi, in our content, is just to try to extract and understand all the best practices in the QA world and try to integrate them in some kind of specific content. I'm saying specific because we'll see the portfolio a little bit later. We have many products, maybe too many products at a time, and we're trying to build something that is focusing on a certain topic, apart from the funding layer that is foundation level, and this is really the start of your journey if you want to get certified in the ISTQB. So all these standards have been integrated or referred to one way or the other, but the name of the game is not to build something around the standard. The name of the game is to use the standard as a backup, let's say, as a back system for the approaches and techniques that we're describing in our contents. Okay. How big is the ISTQB? Well, actually, ISTQB is the biggest certification scheme in software testing worldwide. I'm showing here more than a million people certified all over the place, so that makes quite a community of knowledge, I would say. It is actually 1.1 million at a time, and we are nearly reaching 1.2 million. It will be probably by the end of the year. Okay? So this is, of course, not done in one day. This is a 20 years existence achievement, right? So in 20 years, we achieved to certify nearly 1.2 million people, and we're very proud of that. This is making the ISTQB the biggest certification scheme worldwide. Okay, now, where is the ISTQB? Anyone guess where the ISTQB is? That little dot there is a wonderful country. This is my country, so I'm very proud. It's in Belgium. Okay, why is it in Belgium? Well, basically speaking, for fiscal reason at the time. So they decided, because Belgium was quite central, fiscally interesting. I wonder how they found out that it's fiscally interesting, because I can tell you, being a Belgian citizen, it's not really interesting, but whatever, apparently for international organization it used to be, or it is. And this is this little proud country there. We have offices there officially, so if you go to the website, you will find that ISTQB has office in Belgium, which is 47 Avenue des Arts in Brussels. Okay? Now, let me disclose a big topic here. ISTQB does not exist. Well, it does exist legally speaking. Yes, we have offices that are mainly a postbox, and social secretary that is dealing with all the administrative process that we need to do according to the EU law and the Belgian laws and all kind of framework that we need to work with. But basically speaking, do not expect to find anything like ISTQB in that place. And here comes the story about that lady. I blur the face so that she won't recognize herself. That lady is coming from, or was coming from Ukraine, actually, a couple of years ago. I was just starting my role. Before being vice president, I've been president of the ISTQB twice, so I had 2 mandates, and then I became vice president. So we only have 2 mandates, so I cannot be president for life. It's a pity, I know, but this is how it goes. So that's the way it is. And this is my 2nd mandate as vice president. I've just been re-elected, so this will probably be my last term with the exec in the ISTQB. Anyway, back to the story. That lady is coming from Ukraine, and she spotted me on LinkedIn, like many people. And she said, "Hey, Olivier, I'm a big fan of you." Okay, I have a big fan. That's fine. I'm very, very happy about that. And, you know, I'm passing by Belgium, and I would like to pay a visit. How about having a coffee together or something? Okay, no bad intention at first. Problem was that I was not in Belgium at the time. I was speaking in another conference, so I was in another part of the world. Basically, Brussels is not, you know, the place I live in. So, basically speaking, that's also kind of a trip for me, especially with the traffic, because Athens is not the only city where traffic is heavy. And well, basically, there's nothing to be seen because there's no ISTQB. There's no office. Okay. So I just told that lady, Okay, let's call her Marina just for the sake of the name. Well, Marina, thank you very much. I really appreciate that you're a big fan of me and that you want to have a coffee with me, but I'm afraid it won't be possible. So please don't come to Brussels, or if you come to Brussels anyway, don't come to the ISTQB because you'll be disappointed. But this lady, Marina, was a little bit stubborn in the best sense of the term, I would say. So she showed up. And then she arrived in that big building, you know, where there's absolutely nothing to be seen. There was no ISTQB office, and she was posting, "Where are you, ISTQB?" Well, nowhere, you know. ISTQB is a virtual association. So we are volunteers from all over the world. We have people from Greece, we have people from Turkey, we have people from the US, we have people from Malaysia, we have people from Australia, New Zealand, we have people from UK, all over Europe, all over the world. You know, Africa, loads of. So these guys, they cannot come to the office every morning and try to work and, oh, let's write a syllabus. This is not how it works, you know. We have a couple of meeting spots over the year that are decided by the different work groups. We'll come to that notion later. We meet together, then we decide about contents, that everyone take, you know, the homework, and then they start building, and then we gather again, and so on and so forth. This is how the ISTQB is working. Just telling you about the executive, we'll come to the executive presentation a bit later, but the executive, I have one lady in Canada, I have one guy in Poland, I have another one in Germany, and I'm in Belgium. Can you imagine how easy it would be to meet every week or something? It's completely crazy, right? So ISTQB per se does not exist. So if you pass by Brussels, you can have a beer, you can have chocolate or waffles, and even on me if you wish to. Go to see the Mannequinpis, it's absolutely gorgeous. Go to see the Atomium, it's much bigger. But please don't come to the ISTQB because there's nothing to be seen. Okay, so what is it all about in this concept? What is the ISTQB? What's in it for me? You know, that was one of my lessons when I was delivering some contents at the customers. I was presenting something and I thought it was brilliant, it was absolutely fantastic, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy asked the question, what's in it for me? So yes, it's fine that we define something international and so on and so forth. It's absolutely beautiful, but what's in it for you? And I'll put that in 3 layers, actually. For you as a person, you are taking a certification that is independent. We are not connected to any company, any tooling. You won't find any reference to a commercial tool within the ISTQB, okay? Any tool, any company, anything, we are totally independent. This is internationally recognized. And this is a challenge, and I will come to that a little bit later, but this is sometimes a challenge because we need to accommodate people that are as different as German and Japanese, or Greek and Dutch. You know, we are of different opinion, we have facing different situations, we are adopting different kind of platforms, methodologies, whatever, and we need to build something that is okay for everyone, which means loads of compromises, loads of discussions, loads of sometimes heated discussions, and we come to something in the end, okay? This is a validation of skills that employer trust, and I will come to that a bit later. This is also some sort of proof of ability for current and future employment. Basically speaking, when we talk about ISTQB certificate today, HR people know, most of them know what we're talking about. And they made some sort of connection between ISTQB certified and tester or QAer. And this is, of course, one of the core. I'll come to that a bit later in another slide. That is our willingness to support your career progression. We moved slightly from a pile, a stack of certification into something that is much more coherent in terms of career path. And I dare say that it brings a certain professional credibility because if you learn about the content, if you manage the content right, well, you know what you're talking about. I'm not saying it makes you a good tester. We'll come to that a bit later as well. But at least you have the basic knowledge of what it takes to become a good tester. From a company perspective, This is kind of competitive advantage in most cases and bringing greater confidence because you know that you have people who know what they're talking about. It brings a certain level of reliability because if you apply what you learned in the syllabi, well, normally you should adopt the good or the best practices. And if you adopt the best practices, well, it's all in the name. I suppose that your effectiveness and efficiency is growing. So efficient and cost-effective practices. If you are in the service kind of company, you know, you're delivering software services to customers, whatever they are, well, this is also something that you can show them and say, we have a higher level of service because our people are certified. And certifying, and we'll come to that as well, is not only about knowing the best practices, but it's also having a common language, speaking a common language. I'm talking about glossary. You know, foundation level, what is important in foundation level is that you get the foundation notions and you get the vocabulary. That's what it's all about, you know. It doesn't make you a good tester, but at least you know the tester speaking language and you know what kind of practices and approaches we have. And then it's up to you to develop, it's up to you to practice, it's up to you to build your career. But this is the basis, this is the foundation. And of course, it comes to marketing advantage because if you say all our consultants are ISTQB certified, then of course it makes a difference. Okay. For the community, and this is not our strongest point, and we are working very hard on that one, and well, stay tuned because we will certainly announce in the near future many things going in that direction. We are building communities. We are building communities of professionals and experts in QA. By having this common language and practice, by developing better software altogether and testing, which is with the agility more and more part of the development or, you know, kind of mixed team. The team is saying it all. And all in all, I do believe that this is a better life. I can tell you how many times I've been frustrated with all these brand new apps that you get, and it's not working, and it's not delivering, and so on and so forth. So if we build better software, software being everywhere, we build a better life. Okie doke. How about this portfolio and career path? As I said, the ISTQB in the beginning was just building a big pack of certification, one on top of the other, a big heap of certification on top of the other. We started with foundation. In the beginning, it was a very simple kind of scheme, you know. We had foundation level. Then we said, okay, now that you know the basis, you need to advance a little bit. So we built the advanced level. And then we understood at the time that advanced level is, on one side, people that are technical savvy. On the other side, people that are more interested in managing projects, testing project, or QA projects. So we went to test manager, test analyst, technical test analyst even, getting deeper into the technicality. And then we said, okay, what's on top of that? Well, we might have experts, and we built the expert level. Okay? So that was very, very easy pathway. But then, of course, the world evolved a little bit, all for good. And then we developed all these parts that are known as specialist modules. Okay? I want to understand a little bit better how performance testing is working. I need to understand a little bit better how to test mobile application. I need to understand a little bit better how to test AI or test with AI. So these are specialist modules. And it became something that was absolutely not readable for people. So we decided to change a little bit the approach and build this wonderful model that is kind of a donut model, where you see the whole ISTQB portfolio. And in my humble opinion, way too many products, still way too complex. But basically you have, if it's there, yes, there you have the foundation level. This is where you start. Then you have the pathway, you know, advanced and expert. And then you have all these testing specialists parts. And you see that there are two little ears to the model, which are certifications that are not ISTQB, but that are working together with ISTQB and aligning some sort of way in terms of glossary, vocabulary, or concepts. And we have something that I call supporting skills. And supporting skills is basically all the skills that you need to have as a tester, but it's not technical. You know, these kind of soft skills like communication, negotiation, well, these sort of things. Okay? The big change here is that we build that model with something in mind that is career path. We understand that people are not interested in piling up, stacking, you know, all kind of certification one after the other, but they want to grow a career. They want to evolve in a certain direction, in a certain way that serves their career, that serves their goal. So we build these personas, like Parker, that is a Scrum Master, or Liam, that is a tester, or Anya, that is a test manager, and so on and so forth. And if you click on these people on the website, you will find something like this, which are the recommendation if you want to grow a career with a certain sort of title in mind or career path in mind. Okay? I'm not saying that this is the once for all or something alike, but it gives you a hint on how you can use the model and use the certification scheme in order to sustain, in order to support your career growth and your career path. Okay. Now, we're going to an area where people don't know anything, most probably, which is the ISTQB backstage. What is happening in the backstage of the ISTQB? How is the ISTQB exactly working? ISTQB is a very complex ecosystem, actually, much more complex than you think it is and that you realize it is at first glance, because, yeah. So, we have the organization per se, what I call ISTQB the center, you know. And this is the stuff that is located in Brussels, which is not, but whatever, okay? Our role there is to create syllabi, define worldwide rules, and operate working groups. We'll come to the different working groups later, don't worry. Okay? This center is operating with member boards, like GRTB, for instance. Member boards, or CFTL, I'm the president of the French board. Okay, that's a long story to explain how I became the president of French board being Belgian, but, well, at a coffee break if you wish. Member boards are our local representatives. They are people who are representing the ISTQB and operating the ISTQB locally. So GRTB is operating the ISTQB in Greece, actually. What do? They translate the syllabi. They accredit the training providers, so they check the material and so on and so forth. We'll have a slide on that one as well. They create or release some exam questions, so boards can write exam questions. They, of course, follow our rules, ISTQB rules. They contribute to the working group, so there are people from different member boards that are taking part in different working groups, and basically are developing syllabi or developing exams or all these kind of activities. They administer the exam and they issue certificates. So there's a big likelihood that if you're taking an exam in Greece, you will have a certificate that is issued by GRTB. Cool. Then we have accredited training providers. Accredited training providers are companies that are delivering courses based upon the ISTQB syllabi. Okay? So, there's a big difference. ISTQB is a model that has been built very, very open. So there's a big difference between an accredited training provider and an unaccredited training provider. Both can give ISTQB-based course. Some can use the logo. The accredited one can use the logo. The other ones are just pretending to use the logo and saying preparing you for the exam, blah, blah, blah. But basically it's been built open because this is kind of open source kind of stuff. So everyone can, of course, learn on their own. You don't need to take a course for sure if you want to take the exam, definitely. But if you take a course, I have the weakness to believe that you are better prepared. These accredited training providers have been checked by the member board on two things: their content and how long they speak about each and every topic as it is recommended. If you open an ISTQB syllabus, that you can download from istqb.org or your local member board, you see that each and every chapter has a recommended time. So if you speak about I don't know, test techniques, for instance, we say that you need to speak for about 180 minutes about test techniques. So we check, as a member board, that all the accredited training providers are, one, talking about test techniques, and second, that they have enough slideware to speak for about 180 minutes. And that's it. And if not, then we have a couple of exchanges with these guys saying, well, look, we don't think that the example is right, or maybe you should enhance a little bit there or there. So there are loads of stuff. This is a heavy kind of task. When they are accredited, they are visible both on the local board and on the ISTQB website. Then we have exam providers. Exam providers are the ones that are delivering the exams. That can be the board itself. They organize the exam on their own. Or that can be an external body, sometimes even commercial association or commercial companies, that are organizing the exam. Three types of exam. You have the paper exam, that is done generally right after the training session. You have an e-exam, that is when you go to a test center. And we have now since COVID, the remote proctoring, which means that you can take the exam wherever you are, as long as you're alone in a room, in a quiet room, and yeah, you just fulfill a couple of technical and practical requirements, and once it is done, you can take the exam. So it can be in your sleeping room or in your, whatever you are, at the office, whatever you are. Of course, not at your desk with 20 people all around, but if you're in a quiet room, a meeting room, that's all right, it works. And they issue the certificate. What you need to know is that these guys are not allowed to develop questions on their own. So all the questions that they deliver are provided to them and authorized to them by member boards. So the member boards are the responsible ones for writing the questions, and the certificates are issued in the name of a member board. So they don't deliver their own certificates. And then, in the end of the game, this is you, the certified tester. Congratulations, you passed the exam and you get a wonderful French certificate. So, welcome to Foundation Club. In the ISTQB, to manage such an organization, we have what is called a GA, General Assembly. We have 3 General Assemblies a year, 2 that are taking place in person, and 1 that is virtual. The virtual one has been added in order to speed up the delivery of products, because we were said to be a little bit too slow in delivering contents, and especially these days where people are very impatient and they want to get the contents now. So we made a special one for the product. A GA, this is looking like that. You know, that's 71 member boards these days, so we are serving 130-ish countries. But we have 71 member boards these days. 71 representatives, like the Greek testing board, like the French testing board, 71. They're all not-for-profit associations. So the ISTQB per se is a not-for-profit, but the member boards that are part of the ISTQB are also not-for-profit. So this is kind of a nested pyramidal structure where you have not-for-profit association. And they all have one vote. Everyone has a vote. So whether you're a big board or small board, you're there for long, you're not there for long, you have one vote. A GA, that's about 200, 250 people. You have member boards, and these member boards propose motions. 71 member boards vote in person or per proxy. And we have a majority system like every kind of election. Most of the votes are majority 50+1. And if it's constitutional, so we really change the organization per se, it is a 2/3 majority. We have an executive committee, 4 people. I'm one of them. I'm the vice president. We manage for all what is called, legally speaking, residual power. So everything that the GA cannot decide or cannot operate directly, that's us. And we have working groups. Working groups, we'll come to these guys a bit later. That's about 60 to 80 people all in all. And they are doing the real content work. Operational, processes, and rules. You want to join as a member board. Let's say that you want to create a member board. Very unlikely here because there's already a Greek member board. So unless you are living in a different country or willing to set up something in a different country, there's very little likelihood that you can set up a member board. But basically speaking, what you need to do is to create a not-for-profit association. You need to be in an area of the world that is not yet covered by a member board. We only have one Greek member board, and we will always have one Greek member board. So it cannot be a second Greek member board. Okay? But let's say that, I don't know, Santorini decide to be an independent republic or something, then you can have a Santorini board. I would love that. Such a gorgeous island. Whatever. There are a couple of conditions to meet, of course. You are presented at the GA, so you come with a presentation. Hello, I'm Olivier. I want to be proposing the Santorini board, and these are my colleagues, and this is my vice president, blah, 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 and please accept us. That's how it works. Of course, these people have questions. They just look at your candidacy, and they accept or reject. And we have mentoring. So if you're accepted, you have an existing member board, not having, putting their notes in your stuff, but just helping you getting traction, helping you with the marketing content and sharing, community stuff. If you want to join the member board, if you want to be part of the Greek testing board or any other member board, you can, of course. There's no problem. It needs to be approved by the board, so this is a candidacy like any other. And you need to sign one of the big NDAs. So this is basically non-disclosure information that you don't want to share and that you don't need to share with anyone. But this is an open kind of approach. Regarding the organization per se, how does it work? Well, basically speaking, at the core, we have the product working groups. So we have a couple of people that are dedicated to develop one or several products. One is looking for foundation. One is looking for the agile track, so we have several products there. We have one that is dedicated to advanced and expert, and a couple in specialist. These guys are meeting a couple of times a year, anywhere in the world where they see fit, or online, and they work on the content. They develop content. That's their job. Then we have the supporting structure, and in the supporting structure we have one working group that is dealing with all glossary items. So they check that every word that is used in the syllabus in development is in accordance with what has been defined in the glossary. If there are new words to be added, then there is a discussion with glossary about the definition and so on and so forth. And yeah, this can be a kind of heavy discussion, but all in all, basically, the glossary is consistent all over the scheme. So when we're talking about black box testing in foundation level, we're talking about exactly the same notion in advanced level or in expert level or wherever else. Okay? We have academia. Academia is a special working group that is trying to make a connection with the academic everywhere in the world. So they reach through the member boards to the universities, they reach out to the university, college, whatever, and try to spread the ISTQB content here and there and discuss with professors and lecturers here and there in order to align. There's a group that is dedicated to exam. They define the exam rules, how the exam should be written, what sort of contents and so on and so forth. They don't do the real exams. The real exams are written by the member board, by the local member board. But they're giving the exam rules and the exam processes and the type of questions and so on and so forth. So they are the guardians of the exam quality. And we have another one that is more internal and might be open to the public soon, which is TBOC, and this is the body of knowledge. So we just ingest all the syllabi and trying to reprocess and getting information, having some sort of big searchable database and so on and so forth. Now that is powered with AI and coming soon. And then we have all the supportive working groups, governance, 2 people. They're just making sure that if there is a conflict or a conflict of interest, it is managed in a proper way. Executive committee, they're managing the structure. And then we have administration and general secretary. This is just one person dealing with that. And we have 2 other working groups that are also quite important. Marketing for sure, that is promoting the content and displaying the content, managing the website. social media channels. Now we have a LinkedIn, a Facebook, even a TikTok. Don't look for me, I'm not dancing on TikTok, but anyway, we have one. And we have process management and compliance. There define the process, how we work internally and externally. You want to join a working group? Perfect, good enough. Anyone can join. And you don't even need to be a member of a member board. So you can, as a person, be a member of a working group. But you need to be co-opted by a member board. It doesn't need to be the Greek member board. It can be any member board. Usually we do that because we have people that are not connected to the ISTQB in any sort of way, but are expert in their matters, you know. And these people are willing to contribute, but not in the name of a board, not in the name of the ISTQB. So they're invited to the working groups and they can work with us. Nevertheless, if you want to manage one of these working groups, being a chair, a vice chair, or even being an exec of the ISTQB, then of course you need to be elected by the GA, so there are real election there. Joining a working group, no election, you can join. Being a chair of a vice chair of a working group, you need to be elected, so you need to belong to a member board, actually. That's how it works. And here they are the executives, so Claudia is our president. Here we go. That beautiful gentleman there, your servant, is vice president. We have Sarah as a secretary, treasurer, and Seba as a secretary. And as I told you, we are coming from different parts of the world, so meeting in person is always some sort of a challenge. But anyway, we're meeting virtually every week. Now you may ask, okay, ISTQB is generating a lot of syllabi. How is it exactly working? How does it work? Well, this is a long, ongoing process. So, basically speaking, somebody has a good idea somewhere and says, look, I want to develop something for testing, I don't know, hot coffee over the web. Okay, good. Then they start fleshing up the projects. We will be discussing about different business objectives. So these are the business objectives that you need to reach. These are the learning objectives that are declined from the business objectives that we will develop in the contents. And this is more or less some sort of business case, how we think this certification would be running if the project is approved and launched. They come with this, and we have a two-side or two-step approval. The first step is a body that I did not describe here that is called a funnel. And these guys review the content, the BO, the yellow, the business case, and they challenge a little bit. They recommend a vote to the GA. They don't vote, but they recommend a vote. They say we approve the content, or we have some reserve on the content, whatever. And then the GA decides. If the GA decides, based upon all this information, that it's worthwhile writing a new syllabus about testing hot coffee over the web, then the project can start. We create a working group or a task force that is going to develop the syllabus. And the expert matters just join this work group and start working. Okay. We also define, by the way, the K levels. So that's the taxonomy, Bloom's taxonomy, which is, let's say, the degree of difficulty of the questions or the matter. They start developing the stuff, and at a certain moment in time, the content is, let's say, fairly good. And they come to another GA, actually 1 month before the GA, the contents are frozen. They come with new contents, and we go for an alpha review. Alpha review is many member boards looking at the content and writing their comments. Okay, oh, you define hot coffee, but you didn't take Greek coffee or Turkish coffee into account, and this is totally different matter. Hey, I'm Italian, espresso, where is espresso? It's not there, come on, honey. These kind of things, you know? And they write these commands. The authors are just taking all the commands. They reply in person to each and every command. And they integrate or decide not to integrate because they say, well, we don't care about Italians. They don't know how to make coffee or something. Well, no Italian in the room? Okay. Scusi. So this is how it works. Okay? Then they reintegrate all these commands, and we come to, after fixes, what is called a beta review. The beta review is the same people reviewing the contents all over again, plus extra people. So this one is open. So in principle, beta review can be reviewed by training providers, can be reviewed by expert matters that are not linked to the ISTQB at all, and so on and so forth. So this is an open kind of review. Okay? It's public. And again, comments are coming and fixes. Any ID for the foundation level. So we've just been, a couple of years ago, we've just issued a new foundation level syllabus, 4.0. Any ID how many comments we get? In alpha? Thousands. It goes by thousands. We had about 3,000 commands in alpha and about the same in beta. So that's a lot. Now, just do the math. Let's put 20, 30 seconds per comment just to deal with it, not even answering it, but just dealing with it, and you understand the amount of work that is behind. If I'm talking about GenAI, which is one of the syllabi I contributed to, some sort of way, GenAI is also in the thousands of commands. You know, every time we get loads and loads and loads of commands. So this is also why it takes such a time to develop a syllabus. And then basically what is happening then, beta is done, all comments have been addressed, taken in, and we go for the GA. And we say, dear 71 member boards, do you agree that now the syllabus is good for release? 50+1 majority, yes, it's good for release, and it's being released in English. Okay? 15 days later. So 15 days after the GA, normally the syllabus can be released, unless we have another plan, because we have many syllabi and so on and so forth, so we can decide for a different launch date. But in principle, we still have these 15 days, because people can challenge. And they say, I don't agree with the way the vote was, blah, blah, blah. That can happen. So we are very, very democratic and somewhat political association as well. Okay? And then comes the big work for me and for others, the local member boards who decide to localize. We do localize the content. So we now have this beautiful 90 pages syllabus, and we need to translate the whole shebang in French, Greek, German, Japanese, whatever language we have. Okay. And what has it done? We give it to the community together with the exam, because we have the blank exams. We also have the real exams that needs to be processed with, and so on and so forth. And then we can organize the certification within the country. Here we go. How about exam and training providers? So exam providers can be member boards themselves, so member boards organize their own exam, or it can be companies, can be for-profit companies. We have big partners like GASC, like ISKI, like the BCS, like the American ATSQA. Well, these guys are not developing, but organizing exams in the name of some member boards. They are, of course, strict rules and conditions. It's not that you can just join as an exam provider and say, I'm going to deliver exam all over the place, okay? If you're looking for these kind of guys, go to India. I'm sorry for the Indian, but this is most of the time where it's happening. We have these Indian companies, they promise miracles and so on and so forth. They deliver fake exams, you just need to pay. You don't even need to take the exam, by the way. I guess it's all a fraud. And you get everything, but it's not recognized by the ISTQB, so it's just, like a fake Louis Vuitton. It's fine to show off, but yeah, it's not the real deal. It's of course recognized by one or multiple member boards, and you can have, as I said, local exams. So this is an e-exam or a paper-based exam. E-exam is you go to a virtual test center and you can get the exam right there, or you have the remote practice that I described earlier. Okay. Accredited training providers are accredited by member boards, and their material is checked against contents, timing, rules, and it's not the same as partner alliances. Partners and alliances are people that are not linked to the ISTQB. They are somewhat linked to the member board and to the ISTQB by proximity. Please, if you take a training, go with an accredited one, because at least you know that the content and the timing has been checked. I'm not saying that they are the best. I'm not saying that non-accredited training provider cannot deliver quality. It would be a lie. I don't know. Actually, I don't know because I don't check. But that's the whole difference. You know, if you want to have a cheap product, you can get a cheap product, but I have no guarantee on the quality. There I have a guarantee on the quality. And we come nearly to the end of this presentation with answers and questions, and I already prepared some answers and questions because I get it all the time. So I save your time and try to anticipate a little bit, but of course there will be room for your own questions at the end. Do I really need to hold a certificate? Does it make a difference? I think yes. I do believe it does. Like a university degree, like your driver license. Can you drive a car without having a driver license? Yes. Can you do physics and math without having a university degree? Yes, you can. There's no problem. But there you have the proof that you've been checked and assessed against a certain set of criteria. That is just the matter. Is foundation level enough? It depends what you want to do. Foundation is, as I said, the foundation. You get the vocabulary, you get the techniques and the approaches. That's it. It doesn't make you a fantastic tester or whatever. Experience is, can never be beaten. But this is the first step in your QA journey, if you're talking about ISTQB. Can you be good and non-certified testers? Yes, of course. I have no problem with that. I'm not saying you need to be ISTQB certified to be good. I will never say that. It's not true. I know testers that are testing for 20 years. They are not certified and they are excellent testers. There are even people who make an advertisement about not being ISTQB certified and being good. This is their marketing gimmick. And that's all right. I have no problem with that. And I have people that are testing for 20 years in the field, always pressing the same button, launching a script that they didn't write. And they call it experience. I disagree. But, okay. Is that certificate better than another one? It depends. Again, we build this career path trajectory for you to assess what you want to achieve. Are we really not for profit? Well, I'm afraid we are, because I'm not paid to come here. I'm super happy to come here and to share with you, but I'm not paid for that. What's in it for me? For me as a person or as a manager or anything, apart from sharing with the community and being in the spotlight, so it flips my ego, not much. I'm running a service company. All my people are certified, by the way. I'm running a service company. If ISTQB dies tomorrow, I will lose probably 2, 3%, 5% of my revenue, max. And not even, because I will design specific courses and I will sell exactly the same. How do we make the money? By running the exam. Every time an exam is run, there's a little bit of money that comes back to the center, comes back to the ISTQB. Why? Because we need money to meet, because we need money to develop, because we need money to sustain the organization and the IT and so on and so forth. And this is how we use it. Fully transparent, all the accountancy is visible. This is a Belgian international association, so everything is public, no problem at all. And I swear, nothing goes to my bank account. I'm sad about that, but nothing. And if we're talking about money, the ISTQB is, you would laugh at that if you see the kind of money that we make. Yearly basis. That's not even €1 million. So that's the kind of money that we're talking about, right? If you're running a company, any kind of small business company is probably over €1 million easily. Well, unless you're just the only one in the company, right? Have we got conflict of interest? Yes, and we have a conflict of interest policy, so people who are in conflict of interest are gently asked to leave the room. Is it some holiday club? Well, that's the good side of it. We're not a holiday club, but we meet all over the place. And just before coming here to Athens, okay, I'm not bribing you, but I'm happy to share. I've been in Vilnius, beautiful city. If you don't know where it is, please find it. It's a beautiful little city. And 2 weeks before, I was in Mauritius for the GA, which is also quite fine. There are worse places to work. I can tell you, the little slide of 10 that I have, I just got it here in Greece because I took the weekend off with my family and I could enjoy the sun. I haven't seen anything but meeting rooms in Mauritius and the swimming pool at night. I didn't swim because it was closed, but I've seen the swimming pool and the big lights and just got a cocktail after a hot day. That was it. Okay, why do we have multiple choices exams? because we need to ensure consistency all over the world. How can you assess a Japanese guy, a Korean guy, a South American guy, an American guy, a Greek, a Belgian, a French, a Turkish, whatever? How do you do that? Well, you need to have something that is consistent. And that's the best and only way that we found. We can have essays, but we have different people. For instance, in Japan, the level of exam is much more difficult. The level of questions is much more difficult. So their pass rate is way lower. So if you want to get certified, don't try it in Japan, even if you speak Japanese. Okay. Why is foundation level a precondition? Well, because we believe that this is the first step. You need to know the vocabulary, you need to master the techniques and the approaches. And if you don't, then you can't grow. How is it compared to practice and experience? It's complementary. I will never say, if you are certified foundation level, you're a good tester. You won't hear me say that. Do I need an accredited training? It all depends. I can tell you that about half of our customers, called that customers, are certified without taking training first. They just learn on their own, and it's designed, the scheme is designed that way. You can learn on your own, take the exam, and succeed. And we don't see necessarily a significant discrepancy between those who take the exam without training and with training. I'm not saying that our training providers are good or not good. I'm just saying that the people who want to get it work hard to get it. Some people say, I have a much better course than the ISTQB. It's much more content, it's beautifully designed, go for it. Yes, I have no problem with that. You know, the big difference between us, ISTQB, and these kind of guys that can be brilliant guys and having fantastic courses, and even better, I can even say better. I have no problem with that. But the big difference, I'm representing 1.1 million customers. They are all certified the same way. And they have the same degree and the same recognition all over the place. These guys cannot show that. That's the only difference. And yes, guys, agility is not taking off in Japan and in Korea the way it is taking off in Europe and the US. So we need to bargain a little bit. We need to discuss with Japanese and Korean people how will we integrate this agility inside our syllabi. Because it's not a common place. We all have our own particularities all over the world. Tools and methodologies, well, the ones that are in the standards, you will find no commercial tools. We're not sponsored by anyone, so don't even approach me to say, we have this wonderful tool, can do you anything? No, we don't refer to you at all. And what can you expect in the near future? Loads of products. We have an update that is now approved on GenAI, so the GenAI certification that been issued last year has already been updated. We have the AI syllabus that is a little bit older that is now updated. We have Agile practitioner that is also getting on stage. We have some DevOps syllabus that is coming, so we have loads in the pipeline and loads under development as well. Financial testing as well. If you're in finance, this has been released. So loads of stuff. And that's about it. Now, if you have other questions than the one that I already answered, be my guest. No? Sure. Yes. Speaking in the mic so that everyone understands. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear that, and apologize some sort of way. We try to give as much feedback as possible. We are facing two different issues. First of all, giving a fair and honest feedback to the people who take the exam, which is something that is sometimes hard. And the second, we have a lot of copycat and we have a lot of security potential problems that are happening. For instance, well, I talked about the non-accredited training provider and these companies like ISTQB.com in India and so on and so forth. We have loads of people that are some sort of selling questions, over the web. And you have loads of people who take the exam, just copy the question or something. Well, we have we have anti-fraud mechanisms now with AI, without AI, and so on and so forth. The proctors are watching you if you take a remote proctoring exam, so that we ensure that the questions are not copied and sent, worldwide, because then the quality of the exam is endangered, and this is not going all right. So we need to have a compromise, and I understand the frustration. I think that this is already something that you get a view on where you need to improve next time. I think that as standard feedback, you have some sort of chapter review or topics that you were, better or worse at. So this is already giving you a hint, but this is not as a detailed feedback as you would get if you were facing a person at a certain moment in time. That I agree with you, but we're trying our best. But understood the question, yes. Is that it? Okay.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
More than welcome. I'm just disconnecting and leaving the floor to you.
Okay. Since we don't have any more time for questions, if you want or have any questions, please connect with the speaker in person after that. Once again, thank you very much. And if you want to know more about the Thessaloniki software testing and QA meetup or WeTest.SKG, please come and find me at the community corner. Thank you very much.